Blessings, everyone. Blessings, blessings, and blessings. I am your host, Dr. David D. King, and your next Lieutenant Governor for the state of Wisconsin. I just want to welcome you all in. Come on in, and join us tonight for Sunday Night Talk. Come on in and join us. Just come on in and as I set up the rest of everything else so I know what's going on. But I'm excited. I thank God for every one of you and those that are coming in. Come on in and say hello. Let me know you're here with me tonight on Sunday Night Talk. Okay, there you go. A couple of things we're going to talk about. And then we're going to go from there on a couple of issues. So I welcome you. Welcome. Come on in. I got it. I think I got everything set up. Come on in. Say hello so I know who with me. So I know. Show some love. Let me know you with me. Uh, as we get ready to start this show, I'm excited tonight. I'm always excited, you guys. Y'all know that. I'm excited when I do a show. I'm excited when I'm up preaching the gospel. I'm excited when I'm at the restaurant and I'm just talking to people. I'm just an excited person. I get excited about anything these days. So y'all come on in. First thing first, and that is the on this Thursday, May the 5th. This Thursday, May the 5th, at hold on, let me get everything right. This Thursday, May the 5th, in Fond du Lac, in the city of Fond du Lac, at the American Legion Foxhole Bar and Grill, we will be hosting a educational meet and greet with myself and Dr. Duke Pesto in Fond du Lac. We'll be talking on the CRT, and we will be in Fond du Lac. The address is 500 Fond du Lac Avenue in the city of Fond du Lac. Doors open at 5 o'clock. The program starts at 5:30. So we hope that you come out. If you know anybody in the Fond du Lac area that you've been trying to get to learn more about CRT and what it's all about and what's going on, I ask you to send them out. 500 Fond du Lac Avenue, American Legion, Foxhole Bar and Grill. That's 500 Fond du Lac Avenue in the inside Fond du Lac City. The doors open at 5 and we begin at 5:30. So I'm excited. I want you guys to come on out, join us, and then we're going to have an amazing time in Fond du Lac with Dr. Duke Pesto, and then Dr. Duke Pesto. I would be up in Dane County with Dr. Duke Pesto on the 12th. I will post more about that on that date with Dr. Duke Pesto on the 12th. And then in June on 18th, we're doing a 2-day tour, one in Green Bay and the other one in Manitowoc. So come on out, learn about CRT. And speaking of CRT, I was out getting signatures, and it's amazing how so many families don't know about CRT. So many families don't know what's going on in the school system. So many families um, are blind or ignorant to what's really going on when it comes to CRT and everything. And so, as I'm getting signatures, I'm educating them. I'm letting them know. I did a. I'm doing. I did a showing for pastors so they could see what's really going on with CRT. I got a couple of meetings with some more pastors to show them what's going on with CRT. I've been talking to families, and you know, it's amazing how people really don't know what's really going on with CRT. So if you have someone that in the Fond du Lac area, or don't mind driving maybe an hour into Fond du Lac on this Thursday, May the 5th, at doors open up at 5. We start the event at 5:30. Dr. Duke Pestle and myself will be there, and we will be dealing with CRT. All right. So I'm crossing off stuff as we go along, make sure I get it out there because there's a lot of things that I wanted to share. The second thing that I want to touch on is there was a debate up in Richmond today, and I did not attend. I sent the host them an email letting them know that I wouldn't attend the debate. And it was not that I am not ready to debate anybody, because definitely I am, but I believe that I have to make sure I secure my place on the ballot first. So that way, I use my time wisely. So me driving 9 hours on the road, just driving, I could use those hours getting signatures, which I done today. And I can say I did very well grabbing signatures today. So I figured that I used that time wisely to make sure that I'm on the ballot, because it doesn't make sense for me to go to a debate, win the debate, and then I don't make the ballot. So I wanted to make sure that my focus stayed on getting on the ballot. So I decided I didn't just want my team out there collecting signatures as a leader. I wanted to be an example, and that is why I decided not to go up to Richmond for the debate. And those that was disappointed that I wasn't there, I ask that you forgive me, but my priority is getting on the ballot. Now, with that being said, I also wish that whoever set up debates from now on, that you do not mail or email candidates questions before the debate. And it's just me personally. I think when you give us your topics or what we're gonna debate on, I think that anybody can sound good after they know what the question is. I think a good debate is hitting us with questions that we are not prepped for, that we are really ready. Because if a person has a vision, and if a person really know the direction they want to take the state in, yes, they actually sent out the questions to the candidates. I got the email. I got the questions. I don't want. I never want to go into a debate knowing the questions, because then you're not getting the real person. Up to me, and again, this is just me. I believe that a debate should be where nobody know the questions. We all up there, and y'all hit us with y'all best shot, and then to see who can handle the pressure and who has a real vision. So when you give us questions, then all we got to do is go look up certain things and write it out in our own way, in our own words. I do not like to be, I'm already prepared for any debate, but I don't want you to send me no questions. And last night, we was at a beautiful event. Thanks to Kelly Wilson. Kelly Wilson put on a beautiful event last night. I ended up getting some great signatures last night, and some people said, "Well, we don't know who you are. We don't know about you. Why should I sign?" I said, "Where are you sitting?" They told me where they were sitting. I went and pulled up a chair. I say, hit me with your best shot. Hit me with any question you want to ask. And as they hit me, I answered. I answered. When you give somebody, I hear what you're saying, Ed, about an outline. Um, if you're doing an interview or something, okay, maybe, but I think that we should be able to come off the cuff. And this is just, again, you guys, this is just me. I believe that we should be able to come off the cuff. If we're running for a position, you shouldn't have to prep me for the debate. You shouldn't have to give me topics that you're going to talk about in the debate. Me personally, I don't believe in that. I believe if I call you in, you just need to be ready for whatever might happen, whatever question might come up. If a person asks me a question and I don't have an answer for it, I'm not going to make up an answer. I'm going to tell you I don't have an answer. I'll go do my research. And if you like, I will get back with you with the answer. But if you are a candidate and you have a vision for the state of Wisconsin, you should automatically have the answer to any question that's relating to Wisconsin. And if you are ignorant to something, or if you don't know the full extent of something, then say, I don't know the full extent, but I will get back to you on that. So, and that's just me, you guys. That's just me. I don't believe that if it's going to be a debate, we should have the questions so then everybody create an answer, because now you look like they sound good, they look good, like they're ready, but they was already prepped, so they had time to put answers together. So when the question comes, but when you hit them with questions before, if you hit them with questions that they haven't seen, if you hit them with questions on how to do certain things, then you will know what you're getting. But if you prep them, then you don't really know what you're getting. You're not getting. You're just getting people who probably went to somebody else and say, "What's your thought on this?" and then came together and put their answer together. I believe if you're running for office, I don't care if you're a dog catcher, and I'm gonna use one of Ed's phrase. Even if you're a dog catcher, you should have a vision on how you're going to catch the dogs. You ought to have a vision. You should have a vision on how you're going to catch the dogs. You should have a vision on how you're going to take care of the dogs. You should have an answer on what it costs to feed those dogs. Even if you're the dog catcher, what's your fee to give the dog back to the families? Whatever it is, you should have something already in case you win. But if you don't have that, then guess what happens? Then anybody can give you anything. If you give me a flow mat and say, okay, we're going to debate on the dog catchers, right? So here's the thing. We want to know, what do you think about rabies? And what do you think about a pit bull versus a German Shepherd? And how would you handle a Chihuahua, what I call them, a Chihuahua, or a wiener dog, or a husky, how? So now I got time to go look up, how do you handle a dog, a German Shepherd versus a pit bull? How do you handle a frightened dog versus a wounded dog? So now I go home and research. But if I didn't do anything before I jumped in the race to run for office, and I have no vision on how I want to see Wisconsin, how I want Wisconsin to look, how I want to treat the people of Wisconsin, how I want to better the lives of the people of Wisconsin, how I want to help the farmers in Wisconsin, how I want to help the small business owners in Wisconsin, then I shouldn't be in this race. I should have some answers on what I want to see. And at the same time, my answer should line up, because my vision should line up with the people of Wisconsin. And that's just me, you guys. That's just me. I know everybody is different, and okay, all right. But you know what I'm saying, right? I really believe that everything should be that, and I did not run away from the debate. I did not go because I needed those 9 hours to make sure I'm getting my signatures, to make sure I'm on the ballot. that was a 9-hour drive. If there was no, if I didn't have to worry about signatures, and signatures was not even, if it was not even time to get signatures, y'all know I would have been up there. I done drove 4.5 hours, 5 hours up north before we had to get signatures on a Sunday, on a Saturday, any day of the week. I drove up there, spent time with the people up north, and I had a awesome, great time. And there was one time I spent 4 days up north, did a full day Wisconsin Revival tour up north. And so, but it wasn't time where I had to get signatures to make sure I secure my place on the ballot. But the ballot is more important right now because of the fact that all is running and I don't get on that ballot, then all his work was in vain. And I don't want this work to be in vain. I don't want people to be excited about me. And then all of a sudden, I don't make the ballot. Then I wasted their time and my time. And I'm not about to do that. So I decided not to go to the debate because I wanted to make sure that I'm on the ballot. I got an awesome team, and my team is getting signatures, and my team is out there. And today it was a cold day, it was a rainy day yesterday, and everything. But as a leader, I lead by example. So I was out there with them. I was out there in the cold getting the signatures. I was out there today getting the signatures. I got to lead by an example. I cannot sit around and just hope everybody else run around and do it and I don't do anything. I'm a leader and I lead by an example. So I decided to be out with the team getting signatures. And this is why I was not at that debate. So if anybody say anything different, then don't worry about it. Don't listen to it because it's a lie. The only reason I did not go because I'm trying to get signatures. The debate would have been real easy. We already got the questions. We know how to butter it up. I mean, that would have been easy. But I decided not to go. And you know, I believe that anybody that set up a debate should not, I repeat, should not give candidates the questions. I don't think that's something that you should do. I think that if it's going to be a debate, I think that they show up and then they get hit with the questions. I don't think that debate we should know the answer. I mean, we know the questions, and then you get then we give you the answers based off of the study that we done prior to the question that was asked. So let's see. I gotta lead by example, Kelly. I gotta lead by example. And you know what, you guys, this is something that we have to make sure that we're doing. We have to make sure that everything that we do, every single thing we do, we gotta be, you got to be ready at any given time. You got to be ready at any given time to give an answer. The Bible teaches me that. The Bible tells me always be ready to give an answer for my faith. So if the Bible is telling me that I need to be ready at all times to give an answer to my faith, and if I'm running for office, I'm supposed to always be ready to give an answer on why I'm running for lieutenant governor. And so, I think that that's something that we all have to take a look at. I think, those that are setting up debates, I mean, you can do what you want. It's your debate. I'm gonna show up once I get my signatures. I'm gonna show up to any debate, but I don't think that candidates should get the questions before the debate. I don't think so. That's just me, you guys. So I got the debate out of the way. Okay, let me see what else. Okay, state convention. Well, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. So the state convention, you guys know that I did not go and meet with the endorsement committee. I told them thank you, but no thank you. I'm not playing that game. Nobody gonna tell me that if I'm a viable candidate or not. So, but what I did do, I do have a booth at the convention. So you can stop by the booth. We will be there, and you can stop by and uh, say hello, ask me questions, have a little fellowship, a little meet and greet at my booth. We're gonna have a nice booth. Have my table there, nice, looking all nice with my lions on my table and everything, and um, t-shirts. If you want to buy t-shirts, we're going to be there. We're going to have yard signs. We're going to be there at the state convention. We'd already done paid for our booth, so we will have a booth at the state convention. I'm looking forward to meeting each and every one that's going to be at the convention. Shake your hand, give you a hug, show you some love. I'm looking forward to it. On For the state convention. So I'm really looking forward to fellowshipping and talking with each and every one of you guys that's going to the state convention, because I just love people. So I'm gonna be there and I'm ready. I'm excited. My team excited that we all gonna be there. Some of my team is delegates, so that's great too. I know they're excited to be delegates there and everything. But I think that one of the most awesome things about everything is we get to shake hands and share our vision with everybody at the convention. That's the part I love. That's the part I'm looking forward to. So, state convention, got that out the way. See, y'all, sometimes I got to write down so much in my brain. Listen to all of my motivational speakers that I listen to, and the word and the worship music that I listen to. So now let's talk about some stuff that's on my heart. Some of y'all know I put a post up about, I put a picture up about let me see. It was, wait a minute. Cereal. And it's Tony the Tiger. Fruit Loops, and Rice Krispies. That's all that's on the box together. Tony the Tiger, Fruit Loops, Smack the Frog, Rice Krispie, and it says "Gather with Pride." It says "Gather with Pride," and then on the back, on the side of the box, "Too amazing to put into a box." I know. I you know what, Ed? I put that up because of, it says too amazing to put in a box. He, him, she, her, they, them. Add your own. And that post, that box of cereal has how should I say this? Got a lot of different people talking, a lot of different people if conservative band together and not bought this stuff, they'll think twice before putting. I know. I did it I put it up there for a reason. And the thing about it is this: a lot of times we're asleep and stuff get past us because we're not paying attention. And I always tell people Deception comes in two ways. Deception comes through pictures and it comes through words. That's how deception comes. It comes through pictures and it comes through words. And a lot of times we're not paying attention to either or. And I saw some comments, and I do believe, like they say, it begins at home. I believe that every household should have. If they saw that box of cereal, I think every household should have a conversation to see. I'm just reading what Ed say. You know, I think it's time to have these conversations at home. Even I know some of us we do, and by you building that foundation in your children, that kind of stuff won't affect them. But if there's no foundation, if there's no conversation, if there's no teaching, there's no teaching, then we got a problem. For example, what is it? San Francisco Gay Choir. They got a song out says, "We're after your children." And they sing it all on YouTube. They after the children. So if they're telling you they're after the children, they're telling you this, then shouldn't you be on guard? Shouldn't you be watching? Shouldn't you be teaching? Shouldn't you be sharing? Shouldn't you be making sure that your foundation, that your moral foundation is set when it comes to your children? You know, I remember when I was coming up, and at the time, men's was starting to get their ear pierced, and they would only get one pierce. And so at that time, they was getting their ear pierced, and it was part of a fashion. And my daddy, it was so funny. My daddy told us, don't even think about getting your ears pierced, because if God wanted you a girl, if God wanted your ears pierced, he would have made you a girl. So what my father was telling us was he don't believe, and this was his belief. He don't believe that a man should get his ear pierced. And so when he shared that didn't even come in my head. So now my son saw his brother just turned 18, and his brother pierced one of his ears. And my son wanted to pierce his ear. And I said, no, let me take you to the Bible. And I took my son to the Bible. And I said, I want you to read something. And I took him to the Bible, and it says that when a man or another man, he will become his slaves, and he will be his slave for 7 years. But after the 7 years, his debt is paid. But if the man wanted to stay under that master, he would go to the doorpost and he would pierce his ear. And that was a sign of giving up his right to be a free man. And I read it to my son, and I looked at him and says, this is what it means to have that ears pierced from the biblical standpoint. Do you want your ear pierced? He said, no. I said, when you become a grown man and you can make your own decision, then it's on you. But right now, I get to make those decisions. And I was not going to allow you to do that. But I need you to know symbolically, what do that means? And I told him, and I took him to the scriptures, and I told him. Ed, I know that. I know, Ed. I know, Ed. I know, Ed. You might as well just come on the show, because you in rare form tonight, Ed. You in rare form tonight. But you're right though. But that foundation has to start at home. We have to share things, and we have to explain why it's happening, why this is going on, why because if you never explain why, I'm just tripping with my popcorn. But so I put that cereal up because I wanted to see where everybody's mind was. I wanted to see, and we got somebody was saying, well, God says this, and you shouldn't be hating, and you should, and they was taking scriptures and misquoting scriptures off of the picture. And I'm sitting there like, okay, you guys. Kat, I'm gonna give you some homework. I'm gonna just tell you this. It is in the Old Testament. That's all I'm gonna tell you for now. Do the homework. If you can't find it after you searched it, then I give it to you. But I like making people do homework first, and then I get it to you. So the picture, I shared that picture, right? And and so I just wanted to see reactions of everybody because we all don't know what everybody thinking. So so we do different things. Um, Now I have uh, something that I want to address to. Wait a minute. Me and my notes. Okay. Some people is asking a question, and I really have to just address it real quick. And that question was, and Ed, I know you're going to have some fun with this one. The lady said, "Who is really fighting for us?" She asked, from what she hears from Democrats, they say they fighting. She says what she hear from Republicans, they say they fighting, but nothing is getting better. So the question is, who's fighting for us? So who do you think is fighting for us? And the reason that is interesting, because here's the thing about it. We have three candidates in the lieutenant governor's race. All right, three that didn't even fight for their own territory. You got two state senators in the race, and you got a mayor in the race. So you got three people in the race that is already elected officials that didn't even fight for their own territory. Didn't fight. The small business owners was selling. Okay, let's see. That's a good question too, but I kind of understand what she means by that. And what I mean by that is this. Technically, elected official is supposed to fight for the people. That's how I see it. Elected official is supposed to stand up and fight for those that sent them to represent them. And so when we look at you put people in office expecting they got your back, expecting that they're going to make decisions that's going to better your life, expecting them that they're going to protect and preserve your rights as parents, your rights as parents, your rights as business owners, your rights as farmers, your rights. I mean, they send you there to represent them. And so let's just look at it though. We have three that didn't fight for their district and their city. They didn't stand up. They didn't say the small business owner who sells the same thing as Walmart that they could stay open. They shut them down and left Walmart open. They did not stand up for the mom and pop little pharmacy, little hardware store. They didn't fight for them to stay open, but you allow Walgreens to stay open. I mean, come on. When we look at this thing, what we found out in 2020 was they just said majority of the people in the state of Wisconsin, whether it's business, church, or whatever, you are not central. In other words, you're not important. That's, to me, is what they said. That, to me, is what was said. And they didn't stand up. And then the coward thing that they did was blamed Evers. Instead of saying, listen, you guys, I'm going to fight for you. A mandate is not a law. It's just a mandate. If you want to stay open, I'm going to stand up with you. If you want to fight, I'm going to stand up with you. After calling nurses and medical workers heroes to go to zeros, and none of them elected officials stood up for them. Come on, you guys. We have to look at this thing for what it really, really is. If they didn't stand up for their district or their city, what makes you think they're going to really stand up for the state? What makes you think they're really, really going to stand up for the state? Yeah, but Ed, they could have stood up and told people, don't shut down. You don't have to close your church. You don't have to close your business. If you decide to stay open, I'm gonna stand there with you. I'm gonna fight for you. They could have done that because I didn't shut down. I took service to the state capitol. I didn't ask for a permit or anything. Yep. There is separations of power, Ed. But if I send you to, if I elect you to represent me, I expect you to stand up and say something. I expect you to say, you know what? No, if you decide to stay open, then I'm gonna stand with you. Give me that option to be in that fight. Give me that option. Don't take that option away from me. I've sent you there to fight for me. I sent you there to represent me. No small business owner wanted to shut their business down. No church wanted to close. They could have done something. They could have got up. They could have said something. If you would have said something, it would have been better than not saying anything and then pointing the finger. It would have been better. But the thing about it is, we give. I didn't send you there to be quiet. Yes, I was. Yes, I was, sir. Church at my service went on. Matter of fact, my service, and the city of Milwaukee was talking about what they was going to do. City of Milwaukee talked about what they was going to do if you had more than 10 people there. And I did the service at the state capitol. I met a constitutional lawyer. The constitutional lawyer said, if they bother you, I would take your case pro bono. And I kept everything going. I did Facebook Live and let people saw me doing service at the capitol. I did Facebook Live, no mask, Didn't anybody, if somebody wanted to wear a mask, that's their choice. If you didn't want to wear a mask, you didn't have to wear a mask. You can hug one another if you want to. I mean, we act like it was normal. That's what we did. We made sure it stayed normal. And we made sure that we did not follow any of that crazy mandate. Because why? Because it was my right to keep the church open. It was my right to go out and have service on the state capitol. They was out there burning up cities and tearing up and stuff like that. None of them went to jail because they didn't follow the mandate. So if they weren't going, then why would I? So yeah, I stayed open. And then what happened is I found other pastors that stayed open. And that's how we began. That's how we got close, because I found other pastors, because they heard that I was at the state capitol, and they called me and said, "We hear you having service at the state capitol." I was like, "Yes." They was like, "Can we get involved?" I said, "Yes." And we did the state capitol. I called, we did Milwaukee County Courthouse. I called the sheriff department, told them, I am going to be on the steps of the courthouse and I'm having service. I just want y'all to know. So if you're going to do something, I see y'all there. And I had service. They didn't bother us at all. They didn't bother us. They didn't say you got to have a mask. They didn't say you can do anything. See, you know what, Ed? I can't take you, man. I cannot take you right now. Let's see. How dare you? Really, Ed? I know you couldn't say that one with a straight face. But the thing about it is, I'm talking about, and I understand, I'll give you an example. I didn't close the church, and I was having service, and I got a phone call from a pastor. And the pastor said, "King, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "What do you mean what I'm doing?" And he says, "I hear you still got your church open, and I hear you holding service at the state capitol." I said, "Yes, sir. Sure is." He said, "Man, you got to obey the law of the land." I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Come back and talk to me when you marry two men." He said, "What?" I said, "When you do a wedding for two men." He said, "Man, I'm not going to do a wedding for two men." I said, "Wait a minute. You just told me to obey the law of the land. And that's the law of the land. So go marry two men." "Man, I got to do what God tell me to do." Exactly. So do I. I said, "Now, if you're afraid of the corona, just say you're afraid. I'm going to walk in obedience to God and do what God wants me to do." And that's what I did. And I didn't have any problem. Nobody said anything to me. We was on the state capitol grounds, and we were there. We made a lot of noise. The only thing the state capitol wouldn't let us do is plug into the electricity. We had our own generators. The only thing they said, "Well, you ain't got a permit, so you can't plug in." That's okay. We had our own generator, and we was there. We was there. So, so when we're talking about this, we need, I mean, it's one thing to say there's nothing we could do but just blame Evers. And then there's another thing that you try to do something and then blame Evers. But if you ain't did nothing, you haven't said anything, only thing you say on the campaign trail, you wasn't central, you were central, you're not allowed to go to church because of Evers, and you my representative, and you supposed to represent a state, a district, and you supposed to represent a city, and you don't stand up for what you're supposed to represent, then how you going to represent us in the state, on the state level? How is it that you're going to represent us and fight for us on a state level? It won't happen. And the moment we open up our eyes and realize that is the moment that things start to change. The moment we just swallow uh, a little pride and look at things for what it really is, then we're going to get some change. You're not going to get change. Keep doing the same thing, expecting the different results. It's not going to happen for none of us. We got to get to that point where we sound like Popeye. Popeye said, "That's all I can stand, and I can't stand no more." And then he ate spinach. But before then, he kept getting whooped. He kept getting whooped. He kept getting whooped until he got tired of getting whooped. And then he ate his spinach and he got the job done. And we got to say, "That's all I can stand, and I can't stand no more." That's what we ought to be saying. We ought to be saying, enough is enough. That's why I always say, I am not looking for a red wave. I am looking for a we the people wave. And when I say we the people wave, you guys, you got to understand. I'm not saying that we the people wave means everybody knew in Madison, because if everybody knew us in Madison, then we really in trouble. Because why? Nobody know what to do, and everybody sitting around don't know what to do. And those that don't know what to do is going to be influenced by the biggest lobbyists, because they're going to wave the biggest money in their face and they're going to take the money. But I think what we need to do with We the People wave is put people in office that's going to fight, that's going to stand up, that looks at it as, I have nothing to lose. And if we're lying in this campaign, on this campaign trail, if we're lying to deceive you and to manipulate you and to deal with your emotions and get you all emotional and everything like that to win the race, like we in a race for a homecoming queen and king, then we in trouble. You know, last night it was about, I think it was 35 to 45 minutes. These gentlemen drilled me. And they drilled me with all kind of questions. They hit me with all kind of questions and everything. And I was having a awesome time because I love pressure. See, when pressure comes, then the real you come out. When pressure comes, whatever's in you is going to come out. What do I? And I ain't got nothing against homecoming, man. I played on the football team. I ain't got Homecoming was fun, man. Homecoming was fun. I ain't got nothing against that. I'm just saying, you know how it is. Or student body president, where you go around the school and you try to belittle somebody else so you can try to be the most popular person. You know, I'm not in this for that. I'm in this because we got to get some work done, and we got to get it done fast, and we got to, you know, I'm not saying um, anything negative about anybody. I'm just speaking truth right now, because why? Because we need to hear truth. We need to hear, we need to hear the truth. You'll never fix nothing if it's true. And you know what? I'll give y'all a prime example. And this is a story. This is not a true story, but I'm just gonna share this little story that I use sometimes. There was this pastor and he had this deacon, and this deacon had some serious problems. And the pastor would preach, but he would preach a message that he thought was going to hit the deacon. And every time he would preach a message, the deacon said, "Pastor, you sure got them today. You sure got them today." And so one day there was a snowstorm, and only person who was at the church was pastor and the deacon. And the pastor, "Okay, I got him now. And I'm going to really preach this message to him now." And the pastor preached that message to that man. And when the pastor got through preaching, the deacon said, "Pastor, if they was here today, you sure would have got them again today." Because that deacon didn't think anything was wrong with him. He did not want to accept the truth. And most of if you look at most of our elections, the people who won the elections won off of emotions. What do I mean by that? Look at your emails that you're getting right now and the mailing you're getting right now, how the Republican Party sends out and they try to scare you and they tell you, they scare you and scare you and scare you, and then they ask you for money. We're almost there, but if we don't get this, the Democrats gonna do this, and the Democrats gonna do that, and so they try to scare us to give and to give money. But guess what? The Democrats are doing the same thing. If the Republican get control of the governor house again, this is going to happen. So we need money so we can stop the Republicans. Scare tactics. Scare tactics. Or they lying. I just saw a commercial, a Tony Evers commercial. And the Tony Evers commercial said that unemployment in the state of Wisconsin is the lowest that it's ever been. And I looked at that and I'm like, where's he getting his numbers from? Because ain't nobody working right now. Fast food restaurants are trying to give sign-in bonus for people to come and go to work. Where's he getting his numbers from? But the laws of all the states. Okay. So where's he getting his numbers from? So, but the thing about it is, do they feel that we are living in a time where nobody do homework anymore, nobody do research anymore, nobody asks the real questions anymore, nobody, or we just taking anybody's words? Everybody I talk to, one of the things I say to them is, and I beg them is, I say, please do your homework on all of us. Please do your research on all of us. Please search all of us. Check out all of us. Watch our pattern from the day we signed papers, say we're running for office till now. See who's been consistent. See who's been truthful. See who have been puffing up and what's the word I want to use? Puffing up and sweetening up their resumes as the campaign goes on. See who's really been what they say they are. And the thing about it is, I finding out that, and I laugh when I see it, and I laugh when I hear it. Every time you turn around, you get a new one. They got something new on their resume. I'm sitting there like, wait a minute. If that was on your resume, you would have had that out day one. You would have put that out day one. And so when you see all of this stuff going on, please do your homework. When people ask me about other candidates, and I'm not talking about just the lieutenant governor race, a guy last night, he asked me about the treasurer race, and I think it's 3 people now in that treasurer race, if I'm not mistaken. I think there's 3 people in the treasurer race. I tell them, do your homework. When they ask me about Secretary of State race, I say, do your homework. When they ask me about the attorney general race, I say, do your homework. Please do your homework on everybody. Don't take somebody else's opinion of them, because we know how that goes. You went to school. Many of us was in school and our friends didn't like somebody. And just because our friend didn't like them, we didn't like them. But once we got to know them, we realized they was cool people. But because somebody else don't like them, do your homework. When people ask me something, if I have something I don't like about a candidate, I just say, my mom said, if I ain't got nothing good to say about that person, don't say nothing at all. Do your homework. That's all I say. Do your homework. Do your homework. Know what you're voting for. Know who you're supporting. Know what you're supporting. You know, that's what we have to do because we cannot afford to miss this one. We cannot afford to lose this one. We cannot afford. And I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm just telling you the truth. We cannot afford to give Tony Evers 4 more years. We can't afford it. We can't afford to give him 4 more years. And we just can't afford just to put somebody there because they got an R behind their name either. We need visionaries. We need true leaders who can be strong CEOs of the state, who can carry the state and turn it around for the better. We don't need the same old, same old. We need and I call it a state of emergency. And in a state of emergency, that means we got to tear up some stuff. We got to turn some stuff around. We got to fix something. We got to deal with the cracks in the foundation of our state. We got to turn parents' rights back over to parents. We got to fix the educational system. We got to jumpstart the economy. We got to make sure all of our farmers are taken care of. We cannot afford to mess this up and pick people just because we like them, knowing you done homework and what they say they are is not there. Knowing that. And you become loyal to people that you know ain't right. That you know ain't right. That you know it shouldn't be. You know something is not right with it. But yet we stay there. We cannot afford no more. We cannot afford to go another 4 years with people in office that don't have a backbone, with people in office that ain't standing up for nobody. We cannot afford to do it. Bottom line, we can't. We can't. And we got to be honest with ourselves and say, you know what? We got to rethink this thing. August is coming. August is coming. And we got to rethink everything. We got to redo some things. Okay, the first half of the game, you thought a person was right and a person right. Now we're getting closer and closer. You know, you should be able to say, you know what? No, I'm sorry. I can't do it. I had a couple. They told me, "Oh, I signed so and so's nomination paper, but let me ask you some questions." I said, "Sure." And after they asked me questions, they said, "He got our signature, but you got our vote." And they said, "No candidate, even the one we signed, would ever stand here and answer the questions we asking." So these are the things you have to look at. It doesn't matter who signs the nomination papers. What matters is who comes out August 9th. What kind of leadership are you going to produce? Notice I said you, because you, the people, get the vote. So what kind of leadership are you going to produce on August 9th? That's something that you got to ask yourself. And the team that we put together, can they beat the Democrat machine? Can they beat Tony Evers and whoever comes out of the Democrat lieutenant governor primary? Can they stand toe to toe with them? Are they going to be able to handle the hard questions? Are they going to be able to handle the pressure that is going to be put on them by the Democrat Party? Are they going to be able to debate the Democrats without knowing the questions? That's what you got to ask yourself. This is May. We don't have that long to go. And we got to really sit down and debate and debate within yourself, not debate anybody else. Debate within yourself. The candidates that you pushing, are they who they say they are? And will they stand up and fight for us? Are we going to get the same old, or are we going to get something different? And that's what we got to do. And that's what we got to ask. And you know, some days, because I travel this whole state, some days when my energy level is low, I just think about my children and my grandchildren and says, I got to keep going. I got to keep fighting. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon. I got to keep going. I got to pace myself. I got to make sure I'm doing what's right. I gotta make sure I maximize my time, making sure I'm doing what's right, making sure I keep true to myself, check myself every day, make sure I'm honest to myself. I'm honest with me. I'm walking in integrity. I'm being consistent on the things that I say and I do on a daily basis, that I'm the same person that when I first filed my papers to today, that I'm still that same person. My message is still the same and everything else. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. And that's what we need to do. Because if we don't, then we're going to miss out. And we're going to miss out bad. And guess who pays the price of us missing out? The next generation. That's who it's going to hurt if we miss out. The next generation will be hurt behind this. The next generation will be more confused than ever before if we miss this. The next generation ain't going to have no hope based on everything that they're doing right now if we miss this one. This is why it's so important that we put our emotions, put them in our pockets, in our purses, and let's get down to the nitty gritty and let's make sure we picking the right person for the right reason, not because we just like a person. Because I can trust that person to do the right thing. And that's how you got to look at it. That's how you got to look at it. Just like most of you right now, if Evers go down, you would not want Mandela Barnes as the next governor if Evers goes down. Many of you will be like, oh my God, no, not him. But what do you think about the lieutenant governors on our side? If you don't pick the right one, you're going to get a Mandela Barnes on our side. That's what you're going to get. So we have to think about this as individuals. We got to sit down, move the emotions out of the way. Do your homework, put the pros and cons on each candidate and say, is this one better? Okay, I like this one. I followed this one, but there's no consistency. They're not strong enough to go against the Democrat Party. They're not strong enough to go handle pressure. I was watching something today. I watched the Golden State Warriors play the who did they play? Memphis. And their key defensive player got ejected out of the game. And the character of that team, it was a great game all the way down to the wire. But it was the character of that team that when pressure came, they knew how to handle it. And they ended up winning that game. You got to have people on the team that can handle pressure, that can step up and do what's right for your children, your grandchildren, all the way. This is going to affect a lot of generations. If we can intercept some of this crazy mess, if we can get rid of Common Core and CRT, if we can get rid of them stupid math books so our kids can go back to learning math, if we can make them go back to cursive writing so they learn how to read the history, because all history is written in cursive writing. So if we can go back to that, if we can go back to reading, writing, and arithmetic the way it's supposed to be, then we can save the next generation. We can give them hope and they can go back to dreaming again. But if we do not do what we're supposed to do, then we're losing another generation. And we got to go to that generation and we're going to have to apologize to that generation for dropping the ball. We're going to have to apologize to that generation for giving them a country that is screwed up or a state that is screwed up because we didn't do our part when it was election time. We didn't put fighters in office. We're going to have to give an answer to that. We're going to have to be able to tell them why it's so messed up, why the school got our children confused, why they got litter boxes in the school system, why nobody in the school system, no school board ever been charged for child pornography. We're going to have to explain all that. We're going to have to give an account. And we can't say it was the Democrats. No, it was us because we didn't do our homework. We didn't go get the strongest candidate, even though my candidate, your candidate is weaker than my candidate or my candidate weaker than yours. But I know that, and I know without a shadow of doubt that my candidate is not strong enough to go in this. This is wartime. This is wartime. And when the children of Israel was at battle with the Philistines sent the strongest man out there. They sent Goliath. He was the strongest man to go one-on-one with anybody that was part of the children of Israel. Nobody would take that fight but David. And David heard him, the foul, talk about their God. And David said, what do the man get to take him out? And David understood that he could not go into this fight wearing the king's armor. Why? Because David knew that that kind of fight, using those kind of weapons, was not going to win. We cannot go into this fight using the same armor. What do I mean by that? You cannot just go and get somebody because they got an R behind their name. You need fighters, real fighters, not somebody that's talking, somebody that have already went up against the Democrat Party, somebody that already have told the truth and shared the truth against the Democrat Party and what they've been doing, and are not afraid to stand up when the Democrats try to attack back. Those are the people we need in office right now. We don't need nobody in office who's going to lie and make their resume look good. And then when it's time for the battle to see who's going to win that battle and that war, and you got a person that can't even fight. This it's all about. It's all about. And like I tell you guys, I'm never trying to puff myself up. I'm just telling you to do your homework. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm asking you to do. Never telling you to don't look at everybody. I'm telling you to look at everybody. I'm begging you to look at everybody. But you can't go into battle with a novice, an unskilled person. And we can't pray and hope that when it comes to August 9th, after August 9th, that we can smear the Democrats enough that we can make people come over to our side. You're going to have somebody that can talk to Democrats and bring them over. You're going to have somebody that can talk to libertarians and bring them over. You're going to have somebody that can talk to independents and bring them over. Not manipulate them, not deceive them, But by sharing the vision, and people will work if there's a vision. You ain't got to lie. You ain't got to manipulate anybody. And that part of politics need to go away, because we never get anything when they do those kind of things. We don't get anything when they manipulate us, or they lie to us, or they deceive us. And they're already doing things where certain things in certain areas, they don't even invite other candidates to come to speak or to do anything, because they don't want that candidate heard. And the reason they don't want that candidate heard, because they know the moment that candidate open his mouth, he's going to win some people over there, or she's going to win some people over there. So they don't invite those kind of candidates into their field, because they already made up their mind that they want to fight with the same weapon and they want to sing the same song. It's not going to get Evers out of office that way. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's going to happen when you decide to make up your mind to put people in office that's going to fight the fight they fight. That's the only way it's going to happen. That's the only way it's going to happen. And so what we have to do, we got May, June, July, 3 months to really crunch it down. You know, we just came out of the NFL draft, and all the way up to draft day, there were so many different athletes trying to make the teams in different teams, and they went to the combine, and they met in the one-on-one with the teams and stuff like that, and the team had to sit down, and they had to look at an individual, and then they had to see if that talent would be able to fit into their program to help them win a Super Bowl. And they looked at what they needed. They didn't look at somebody because they was nice, or they were just, I mean, they was fast, they was good. They looked at the need. What was the need? And what they ended up doing, like the number one person in the draft was a defensive player. Because why? The Jacksonville, I believe it was Jacksonville Jaguar, they needed help on their defense. So they didn't go after a quarterback, a running back, a receiver. They went after a defensive end. They went after somebody that was going to help their defense. So we have to do that. It's almost August 9th, it's draft day. Who we're going to put on the team to represent us, to get us to that Super Bowl on November the 8th and win the election. We need somebody. We need to look at everybody and say, you know what, you've done this, that's good, but that ain't what we're looking for right now. We're looking for somebody that's going to fight for us. We're looking for somebody that's going to represent us. We're looking for somebody that can handle the pressure. We're looking for somebody that got tough skin. We're looking for somebody that can really, really do what they say they're going to do. That's what we need. That's what you got to do. You got 3 months to look at everybody. You got 3 months to find out everything about every candidate. If they say they done something, look it up. Make sure they done it. Make some phone calls. Now, I made some phone calls, and I know a couple of my opponents lied because I made the phone call. I'm not going to call them out. I'm not going to do that, because then you guys will say I'm smeary. So I'm going to have you guys do the homework. And if you do the homework and you make them phone calls, you'll find out. Wow, they lied to me. Wow, they lied again. Wow, they lied again. Because why? Because they know you're not going to go that far, that deep. But if you had a company and you asked a person about something, then you say, okay, I need to check your reference. I need to make sure you know how to do this. When I was managing one of the $1 million restaurants that they allowed me to manage, cooks would come to me in an interview and they told me, I'm a cook. And I look at their resume. I said, oh, you a cook? They said, yeah. I said, okay, this part of the interview is over. They said, already? I said, yeah, but no. That's this part of the interview. The next part of the interview, we're going in the kitchen. If you know what you can do in that kitchen, we're going to come back in this dining room and talk. If you don't know what to do in that kitchen, we're walking you out that back door. Because you don't tell me you're a cook. I need to see it. So I take them in the kitchen, and the interview is in that kitchen. That interview is showing me what you know how to do. I need to see it. I need you to show me exactly you know how to handle a knife. I need to know exactly you know how to take temp. I need to know exactly if you know well, medium well, rare. I need to know if you know your stuff. I need to know if you know all the danger zones about being in the kitchen. I need to know you can read a recipe. I need to know you know how to measure. I need to know because if you're telling me this and I'm trying to see if you fit me, I need to see it. I need to see it, and that's how I used to do them. I need to see it. I think that's what we ought to do with every candidate. You know what? You say you did this. Let's take a tour. Let's. I'd love for anybody that want to come in Milwaukee and go with me in the neighborhoods of Milwaukee and talk to anybody. And you just want to watch unscript. You can just say when you can just tell me when you coming, and I'll meet you wherever, and we'll go. Or we ain't even got to come to Milwaukee. If you live in Racine and you want to go in Racine, we can go in Racine and take me in an area where you just know they're Democrats, known Democrats. Let me have a conversation with them. Or if you're in Kenosha, Beloit, doesn't matter, Green Bay, it doesn't matter where you at. Doesn't matter. Just let me have a conversation with them. Let me talk to them. Let me see where their head at and where their heart is. Because we can't get those Democrats that's upset with the party right now for what they have done to affect their lives. If we can't deal with them to pull them over, we're not going to win. And if you got somebody that just saying a script, people are going to know it and they ain't going to want to deal with it. That's just the bottom line. We got too much at stake. I had a meeting Saturday with a gentleman from the University of from UWM, University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, and we had a conversation. We just sat down and okay, Kelly, just let me know when you want to go to Racine, and we'll go over to Racine. But I sat down with him and we talked about life. We talked about his life, my life, his childhood, my childhood. We talked about why I was running and what will it take to change this around. And I mean, we had a awesome time. And then I had him eat something he never ate before in his life, some catfish. He was like, I never ever ate catfish. I'm like, you never had catfish? He said, never. I said, today we're going to eat catfish. And we ate catfish and he loved the catfish. You know, I want people to know who I am so you'll know what you're getting. So, Kelly, you ate catfish before? So, you guys, I just wanted to have a Sunday talk. I just wanted to come on and talk and to explain a couple of things and why I wasn't at the debate. about the event that's coming up on Thursday in Fond du Lac. In Fond du Lac. Um, the Dr. Duke Pestle and myself will be at American Legion, Foxhole Bar and Grill, 500 Fond du Lac Avenue in Fond du Lac. So we want you guys to come on out uh, and join us. Um, I'm looking forward to it. I love when people are getting empowered with information. Information is the most powerful thing. So I love to empower people. So I'm looking forward to that in Fond du Lac. Matter of fact, I'll be up in Fond du Lac probably Tuesday during the day or Thursday. No, or Wednesday, talking to families and encouraging people to come out and see about CRT so they'll know what's really going on with CRT. So, with that being said, I hope each one of you have a blessed Sunday night. I love you guys. I want to say to my team, thank you guys for all the work you guys are doing, all the hard work you guys are doing, getting signatures, setting up events, keeping my calendar straight, encouraging me on a daily basis. So I just want to thank all of you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you for all the things that you guys do to allow me to focus on turning this state around. So I'm excited um, and I'm grateful and I'm very humble. I don't take this. I don't take this lightly. I don't take you guys' sacrifice lightly. That's why I try to lead by example. So I thank you guys again. I'm just grateful, to you guys and all that we're doing. Um, so sometimes we take people for granted, but I never want to take you guys for granted. I appreciate the sacrifice that all you guys do after you get off work. Um, even the young people and all the work that they've done. Uh, Even the young people that's involved, I thank God for them as well. Uh, so, you know what, Kelly? I'm telling you, it's just an honor for me to just, you know, all the people that's helping all across this state. I don't, I'm not going to even start trying to name because I'll miss somebody and then I'm in trouble. So everybody that's Team King, I want to thank you guys for the people that write and give encouraging words to me. I thank you for that as well. Your prayers, I thank y'all for that as well. Um, you know, my goal is to just make you all proud once we become lieutenant governor, to make you proud, to know that this effort of yours was not in vain and that we're going to turn the state of Wisconsin around. And we're going to be a state that every other state looks at, and other states will be proud to mimic us. So I'm excited. I'm grateful. And again, I thank everybody. I do have a date coming up where I will be having uh, CL Bryant. CL Bryant, Freedom Works, is coming into town to do a fundraiser and to help me with my campaign. So I'm just grateful that CL Bryant is coming into town to help with my campaign. And I'm also grateful that K. Carl Smith will be coming back into Wisconsin also to help me with my campaign. So I'm looking forward to having CL Bryant, look him up. He has a CL Bryant show, a radio show. He's the producer and author of Runaway Slave, and he has a radio show called Conservative Voice. I believe it's called Conservative Voice for America, and he has Freedom Works. So he will be in town to do a fundraiser with me and help with the campaign. So I'm excited, and I just want you guys to know how excited I am, and I'm hoping that you guys will keep me in your prayers. Keep me in your prayers as I continue to move forward. I am your next lieutenant governor. I know I am an agent of change, and I'm ready to change Wisconsin. So, with that being said, this is Dr. David D. King, your next lieutenant governor. Until next time, Thursday night, tune in Thursday. Nope, not this Thursday. I will have to talk with my co-host, the Constitutional Queen, and we probably do a show either Tuesday night or Wednesday night. All right. Hey, Linda, how are you? How are you? I want you to know, Linda, your words of encouragement did me some wonders. I reread it yesterday before church, and that helped fire me up. So I just want to thank you for your encouraging words that you gave me on one of my posts. So I thank you for that. God bless you. Amen. So I'm looking forward to CO coming. So you guys, they are amazing, and I'm just thanking God for them. So you guys, I just want you guys to um, let's stay together. Let's stay loving one another. Let's stay focused. Let's go and let's turn our state around. We have to do it. We ain't no other. We can't even wonder when. It's now. It is now. It is now. We cannot sit around and wonder when, how, what, why. We have to move now. We got to do it now. We can't wait another 4 years. We cannot afford another 4 years of Tony Evers, and we cannot afford another 4 years of just straight politics, business as usual, rather who's in office. We need fighters in office to turn this around. So this is Dr. David D. King, your next lieutenant governor. Until next time, God bless you.